Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I cover nostalgic, obscure, or otherwise strange content. Today, we're doing another viewer request. We're covering Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. Not the song, the 2000 cartoon movie. Yeah, I can hear people, kind of being like, "Ah, man, I just blocked that out of my head and now you've brought it back into my memory." I can hear that happening on the other side of the screen. So I'm sorry. I'm sure the song's like playing in your head. It's a whole thing. If you don't know, I don't know if anybody outside of the US, this feels like a very distinctly US thing to me, but if you don't know, there is this song called Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer, and it plays incessantly all Christmas season.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer, walking home from our house Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as Santa, but as for me and Grandpa, we believe.
Can you guess what it's about? Well, guess no further, because in the year 2000, an animated hour-long retelling of the time-honored classic, Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. Let's take a look, shall we? If you're missing the title song, as you hear jingle bells playing over the title, and wondering why that is, don't worry, you will hear the song eventually. Oh boy, will you.
It's the Christmas season, a time for telling colorful holiday stories. And my favorite story of all time is about my grandma.
My favorite story of all time is about how Grandma almost died at the hands of Santa. What kind of messed up Christmases have you lived through that's your favorite story? Yeah, so right off the bat, we see the crime in action. Grandma just gets
But as for Grandpa, we believe.
ended by a reindeer? Jesus.
It almost put an end to Christmas.
It almost put an end to Grandma. What do you mean it almost put an end to Christmas? There's bigger problems happening here.
And no place was busier than my grandma's store. My grandma's store. Ah, there it is.
Oh, it's an itty-bitty cute little shop.
She sold decorations, handmade toys, at least one of anything you could imagine for the holidays.
Did I say itty-bitty? Oh my god. So Grandma's like the nicest person in the world. She tells stories to kids. She lets people take things home on credit when they can't pay her right away.
Things have to change. This store can't get rich selling holiday pastries on credit.
And then the big bad villain is Cousin Mel. She's one of the family relatives that's trying to like sell the family business because she wants to be a millionaire, I guess. She's basically just the cliche bad guy from any of these like late 90s, early 2000s era kids movie things, except this time around they're like, we'll make the bad guy Southern and female.
Enough is never enough.
That'll be enough of a fastball. They won't see that one coming. So she's this mean Southern lady. And as a real-life mean Southern lady, I think they could have done a little bit better.
Life's about being nice to people. Money? Ugh.
Yeah, to be fair to Cousin Mel, they have to make a profit somehow.
A computer nerd who still believes in Santa Claus. You're so reality challenged.
Reality Challenge would be a great name for a band.
Daphne, stop teasing your brother.
He started it.
I don't think he did start it, to be fair.
Santa Claus is real.
Well,
So Jake is just like, hey mom, Santa's real, right? And the mom's like, yes. Yes.
Hey, who wants to put up a tree?
All right, a Christmas tree. That's not a Christmas tree.
That's not a Christmas tree. What is that?
You're looking at the new inflatable Christmas tree manufactured by the Cityville Own All Corporation.
The Cityville Own All Corporation. Nice. Yeah, so they buy an inflatable Christmas tree. This has no bearing on the plot whatsoever. It's just kind of to set up the whole fact that it's a capitalist society and the movie takes a very anti-big business corporation stance. But damn, an inflatable tree? One, that's a terrible idea on every front. Two, as a real-life pet owner, I can tell you that Christmas tree would not last more than 5 minutes. If you've got any animal whatsoever. That dog, you'd wake up in the morning at best, and the dog would be like swimming in the remnants of what used to be the tree, all punctured on the floor, and you'd have to do one of those like TikToks where people like voice over, like use the automated voice to talk for their dogs.
My collar got stuck on the bottom drawer of the dishwasher and I ran down the hallway like a fucker. Now every time she opens the dishwasher I run away because the dishwasher is a punk-ass bitch.
We had to chop our trees down by hand. Never forget the time I had to use a beaver for a chainsaw.
How, though?
Excuse me, I'm...
Austin Bucks, CEO of the Cityville Own All Corporation.
Yeah, so the CEO of the Own All Corporation comes in to try to buy the shop from Grandma, so that he will own the entire town. And to do that, he dresses up in this weird goblin costume for some reason, and he says it's to get her to listen to his offer to buy the store. Why would that help him?
I don't suppose you're dressed that way to read Billy Goat's Gruff to the kids.
No, I did it so you'd listen to my offer to buy your store.
I don't understand that at all. It doesn't make any sense.
People are too busy to think about Christmas. With their cellular phones and fax machines, email.
Ooh, the modern age of fax machines ruining Christmas.
Your store sits on the perfect place to build the crown jewel of my empire. Picture it. Gifts delivered on Christmas Eve by our new sleigh-mobile.
I'm just gonna say it right now. The automatic sleigh thing never comes back into play. I legitimately thought, because I've seen this maybe once ever, and it was when I was a very small child, I legitimately thought when I watched this earlier today that it was gonna come out that that was the sleigh that hit Grandma, and so Santa Claus was off the hook, but no, that's not what it was. It was actually Santa that ran Grandma over.
And you can keep the troll costume. Bye-bye. I've always loved a man in tights.
Okay, so Grandma won't sell, and Cousin Mel wants to sell. That's the main conflict.
I'd tell you to put a cork in it, you greedy money grubber. But Grandma shouldn't talk that way.
Gosh, Grandma, I think you just did.
Do you realize what you just did? You let my fortune walk out the door.
I know, it's a kid's movie. It's not like it's not supposed to be like some big thing, but like a little bit of like character depth wouldn't have hurt them, right? Like, I hate when people make like things for kids and then just say, well, it's just for kids, it doesn't matter. Like, you should still like try to have like a little bit of depth in there, right? Really nice family. Really mean southern aunt. That's all we get.
The holidays were upon us and things were going fine.
Oh, and so there's more songs than just Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. This one's about fruitcake and how terrible it is.
My yearly Christmas nightmare has just come back again.
A message that I can 100% get on board with.
I grabbed the wife and children as the postman wheeled it in.
This delivery man just like busts down the door of these people's house as the parents shield their children from the horrors of life that are fruitcakes.
Happy as a servant, a preacher, lucky one's enough to give the whole state of Kentucky a great big belly ache.
Okay, I was about to say it couldn't be that bad, but like, it is fruitcake. Fruitcakes are pretty non-enjoyable to eat. Is that guy walking on turkeys? Don't do that. You'll hurt the turkeys.
I don't know who buys your cakes and cookies, but this will for darn sure make everyone sick.
So Mel, poisons the fruitcake.
And with no customers, you'll have to sell.
So that Grandma will have to sell because this is the fruitcake that she's sending out on, you know, behalf of the store. What? Okay.
What were you saying? I'd have to sell?
Oh!
Which is a terrible thing to do, but also, why is she talking to herself so loudly? I think she wants to get caught. I think her conscience is taking over. So the next day, Grandma's trying to decorate the house and nobody wants to help her.
Who's gonna help me with the decorating? Can't. Have to call my boyfriend. Sorry, Grandma.
You know how teenage girls are. But Jake helps her, because Jake is nice about it, so he helps her decorate the house.
Well, we did it.
It's right on the nose, Jake. We did it.
I love the shade. You can hear it in Grandma's voice. She's just like, yeah, we did it. The rest of this lazy-ass family, useless. Didn't help one single bit.
It's too late to go out now, Grandma.
If I had had some help, I would have been finished hours ago.
Oh, and then this is the big happening. The incident is coming up. We hear the song again, and as the song plays out, the actual incident plays out at the same time.
She'd been drinking too much eggnog.
You've been drinking too much eggnog.
And we begged her not to go.
Please, don't go.
We're begging.
Please don't go. I love the grandpa.
Our house Christmas
Grandma,
Eve.
watch out!
You can say there's no such...
So to make this even more traumatizing than it already was, Jake witnesses the whole thing. Poor kid. And then he runs down to try to get medical attention for Grandma, and no one believes him or even wants to go outside and check?
You saw what happened, didn't you, Grandpa?
I'm sorry. Were you talking to me? I was too busy watching Grandma get run over by a reindeer-drawn sleigh.
For somebody who was so upset to see her go a couple seconds ago, he's pretty nonchalant saying that. So they look outside, she's not there, and then Jake is just like, Dad, you gotta call the police. And even though no one believes him, including the dad, he does call the police. So they show up the next day, Christmas morning, to file an incident report.
I saw Grandma get run over by a reindeer.
Sorry, son. Impossible. Right here in the manual. There's no such thing as Santa Claus.
So two things that are funny about that. One, that this cop just like has the manual that reminds him of what the law is like under his arm and like looks it up like, nope, says that Santa's not real. And two, the other funny thing is the fact that there was a need in the police manual to write down, hey, just so you know, Santa's not real, just in case you had any questions about that.
When we found her Christmas morning at the scene of the attack.
See?
Yeah, and so in the song, Grandma died.
She had hoof prints on her forehead and incriminating claws marks on her back.
But I guess, you know, to make it more kid-friendly, they changed that, but they kept the part where they talk about finding Grandma's dead body the next morning and play it over them not finding anything, because Grandma's just missing.
Okay, then. I'll just put it down as sleigh-hicular hit and run.
So if Santa's not real, why do they have a code for a sleigh-hicular hit and run? I hate that sentence exists. Sorry, I feel like I'm being kind of grinchy about this. I don't mean to be. I just find it all very funny.
I even got permission to put Grandma's picture on milk cartons. Nothing helped.
Oh no, poor kid. He can't find his grandma. So time marches on, and seemingly only Jake misses Grandma. No one else in the family seems really that bothered. My glasses are filthy.
Did anyone ever tell you you're very good looking for a man with deep pockets?
So Mel's hitting on the big businessman. She's trying to sell him the store now that Grandma's gone. Tactful. And he's like, hey, I'd love to buy this place from you, but you're not allowed to sell it to me because your name's not on the deed. So she takes Grandpa out to dinner and tricks him into giving her power of attorney of his affairs. Yeesh.
So sign.
I'd rather sing.
Oh, and then he just starts singing in the restaurant, and we get another little Christmas jingle.
Grandma's spending Christmas with the superstars since that reindeer ran her down that fateful night. Grandma's hanging out with all those late great stars for the heavenliest Christmas of her life.
So Grandpa's taking this whole thing pretty well. He's just like, nah, I don't miss my wife. She's in heaven, making out with Elvis.
She's standing under the mistletoe with Elvis. He's been consoling her because she's missing Gramps.
Oh no. Also, what is this? It looks like underwear. Did someone throw in Grandpa's fake dream sequence? Oh no.
For the heavenliest Christmas of her life.
I don't want to think about it.
We won the lottery. We're going to be rich.
So Mel tells them all that they won the lottery and then is like, psych, I just sold the family business that everybody loves. So Jake tries to intervene by riding his skateboard up to the top level of Own All Corporation and right into the CEO's office. Yes, I'm aware it's a pair of roller skates, not a skateboard. Tell me I'm a dumbass in the comments section. I'm sorry. You've got to really hate your boss if you're, like, manning the lobby and you just let a kid on a skateboard go up to your boss's penthouse office, right?
Cousin Mel's attorney. I am Slime.
Well, I'm getting the feeling that the writers of this don't really like lawyers too much.
Why don't we go somewhere romantic and consummate this deal?
You got it, kid. This deal doesn't close till the end of the week.
Damn, that is cold. So Jake's got a week to find Grandma, and he sends an email to Santa and is like, hey, please help me find my grandma. Santa's the cause of this whole mess, so he really should be doing more. So the elves print out the email and bring it to Santa, who's sitting in a tracksuit.
It's as if they're too busy with their prefabricated, mass-produced lives to need me anymore.
Wow, subtle. Very subtle with the writing. Also, I'll see if I can find it because it made me laugh. I was reading reviews of this movie on IMDb a little bit this morning, and I came across this one that was like 1-star garbage. The antithesis of consumer capitalism isn't socialism, it's Jesus, or something like that, and it made me laugh really hard.
Ho, ho, ho! The mystery of Grandma X is solved.
And so, by the way, right away, Santa sees that there's a missing grandma and is like, oh, that explains a lot, and goes into a room that's like a hospital wing of sorts. And I think all the other patients are supposed to be elves, but when I first watched this, my first thought was, oh no, how many grandmas did he hit? Is this just a regular thing? Somebody needs to stop Santa from doing this again.
Grandma Spankenheimer?
Spankenheimer? Nope, never met her.
And of course she has amnesia. So not only did Santa run this woman over and then leave the scene of the crime, but he kidnapped her. That's horrible. So one of the elves decides that the next logical thing to do would be to also kidnap Jake and take him to the North Pole to see his grandma instead of just bringing Grandma back.
You better have a good reason why you broke elf code and brought a human here.
I mean, you're the one that kidnapped Grandma, dude.
Thought you'd like to meet Jake Spankenheimer. The Jake Spankenheimer who loves rollerblades, video games, pillow fights with his sister.
And of course he's also a stalker, because Santa's always been a stalker. He's really got a rap sheet, Santa does.
Grandma!
Okay, I'll bite. Who is he?
And Grandma doesn't remember Jake, compiling on to the trauma that he'll probably be facing for his entire life. So Santa, the elf, Grandma, and Jake roll up in the sleigh to the big businessman's place of work, and Santa's like, I'll handle this.
Quincy, keep an eye on things.
And they leave Grandma and the elf in the sleigh.
It's Grandma. She's supposed to be missing.
Oh, this ruins everything.
Meanwhile, Mel and the lawyer are scheming, and they realize that Grandma's back, and they're like, oh no, but our money. So they kidnap Grandma. Grandma's had a rough time of it, man. And I really thought the big businessman would need more convincing that this is really Santa Claus, but Santa kind of wins him over easy.
You're Austin Box. When you were 6 years old, you wanted a Lieutenant Neutron action figure.
Hey, how did you know that?
I'm Santa.
Amazing!
He's like, hey, Santa, good to see you, man. And then Santa describes what happened the night that Grandma disappeared. And oh my god, is it a weird story.
Something made my reindeer go waha! I tried to stop them, but nothing worked. Quincy, leave a note explaining what happened.
So he ran her over and then, again, kidnapped her? Why didn't he just call the police or an ambulance? Like, he says he left a note, and it turns out that Mel stole it, so, like, the blame is on her because that's why they didn't find Grandma, but, like, the blame's on Santa, or most of this blame. He ran over Grandma. And then because Grandma's missing again, they then decide to arrest Santa Claus. He really should have been arrested almost a year ago now for the hit and run and what have you.
Santa's been arrested!
And then Mel and the lawyer are scheming about how now they want to sue Santa for causing all this harm to Grandma, which, again, I feel like Santa needs to be penalized. And they convey this scheme in a song, which is...
Grandpa's gonna sue the pants off of Santa. That's what Grandpa's gonna do. Woo-hoo! Grandpa's gonna sue the pants off of Santa, 'cause Grandma would have wanted him to. Woo!
Okay. Yikes. First of all, I'm so glad they took this cultural art form.
Grandpa's gonna sue the pants off of Santa. Santa's going for a ride. Oh, Lord.
Did this with it. And also, this song has been just playing over and over and over in my head all day, and it's driving me insane. I mean, I'm already insane, but whatever little bit of sanity I have left is being taken from me as we speak by this song. Oh yeah, and the Santa Claus trial is just this televised true crime affair, apparently. I feel like the artists or writers or whoever is responsible for those signs were just like really proud of themselves and high when they made them.
If he goes to jail, it will be the end of Christmas.
But he ran over Grandma! There are no legal repercussions. Where's the justice for Grandma?
Okay, doofus, do your smell thing.
You mean smelling? Your smell thing.
So that's where she was going.
Wait a minute, you needed the dog's help to tail her? You couldn't just do that on your own? But anyway, he finds out that Mel is holding Grandma hostage. He breaks in through the chimney and gets Grandma out while Mel is gone. And then he finds the whatever it was that Mel used to try to poison or taint the fruitcake and solves the mystery.
Jake, what am I doing here?
Grandma!
Nothing else has triggered Grandma's memory to come back. But upon eating one bite of fruitcake, she remembers everything. Amnesia cured.
You remember!
Couldn't tell you why. So they storm the courtroom and they're like, hey, we found Grandma. And the judge is like, oh, well, since Grandma is safe and sound now, I don't think there's been a crime.
Since Grandma isn't missing, I hereby rule that Santa Claus is innocent of causing her disappearance.
And I don't think that that's how the law works, with all due respect, Judge. Kidnapping doesn't cease to exist as an event once the victim is found. And also, there was a hit and run. Why is no one talking about that? Jake concludes that the stuff that Mel put in the fruitcake worked as a reindeer attractor, like catnip for reindeer, and that's why they ran over Grandma.
I rule that Santa is also innocent of the hit and run charge.
And they're just like, oh, it wasn't Santa's fault at all, which is questionable.
I couldn't control myself.
Oh yeah, and the reindeer can talk in this one. If the reindeer could talk this whole time, couldn't they have shed some light on the situation? I feel like they could have pitched in a little bit of help. And so Mel just gives up and confesses to everything right there in court.
Yes, I did it. I hid the note.
And she kind of slips in and out of her southern accent. I don't mean to be harsh.
I'm behind this evil trial.
No one knows how to do a southern accent, I've noticed. Like, fellow southerners, you can back me up on this, right? Like, most of the time when you hear a southern accent in a movie or TV show or something, it's almost never accurate, right?
And I hate the goody-goody feelings of Christmas. All this caring and sharing.
Babe, you look great in stripes.
That's what you get for being selfish and stupid.
Yeah.
Jake, you saved Christmas.
Justice for Grandma. I don't think that's fair. So everybody's fine. Grandma is home. She teams up with Big Businessman to make a bunch of franchises of her store all over the country.
Open Spangenheimer general stores all over the country.
Which is kind of a weird conclusion to the otherwise big business bad messaging of this movie.
Whoa! Whoa!
Oh no! Reindeer nip!
Oh no, not again.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
Oh my god, did she die? She died this time, right?
Walking home from our house Christmas Eve.
She just walks it off, though. She's fine. And that's it. That's the movie. First of all, I'd like to say genuinely thank you for recommending this one. I completely forgot it existed, and it's batshit crazy. I know people have fond memories of this. I never want people to feel, like, bad for liking stuff. We try to embrace the weird here. But this movie is just overwhelming, in my personal opinion. Like, my brain just feels so bombarded with information. I'm sure I missed a bunch of stuff that's worth talking about and commenting on. I usually miss stuff, but, you know, I feel like I probably missed at least a few things in this one due to just the sheer amount of stuff there is to talk about with this movie. So if you caught anything that I didn't mention, be sure to leave it in the comments section as always. I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. Anything and everything you do to support this channel means the world to me. If you're new here and you're a fan of nonsense, maybe consider sticking around. I post nonsense all the time, and ring the bell because my upload schedule is as chaotic as I am. And remember, my name is Avery. I'm a YouTuber if you say so, because thanks to you guys, this is technically a YouTube channel. Stay safe, guys. Scan the sky for any flying reindeer or otherwise furry beings.